Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in the last video we were solving some limits at infinity problems and we were at this question over here, and before solving this question we first need to look at some end behaviors of rational functions. Okay, so these are the functions that you have to look, so these are some sort of tips that you have to know, okay, before we go ahead and actually solve them. Okay, so here first you have to know that is if you have a constant and if you divide it by infinity, so you're basically gonna get a zero, okay? And if you have an infinity and if you divide it by a constant, then you get an infinity. And if you have something like infinity over infinity, then you can get anything is possible, okay? And every time I mention anything is possible, it's basically like saying you can get either zero, you can get either c plus or minus infinity, or it does not exist. You can basically get anything from here. Okay, so and then if you get something like infinity over zero, so then you can get positive, negative, infinity, anything. And if you have like zero over infinity, so that would be zero, and zero over c, that would be c, and then c over zero, that is positive, negative, infinity, and zero over zero, you already know it, you can get anything from here. It depends on the factorization or anything, conjugate or anything that you do. And here I think you guys already know this. Okay, so this is pretty simple. And likewise, if you do infinity minus infinity, you can get anything. And infinity minus 1 over infinity, so 1 over infinity is like 0, so infinity minus 0 is equals to infinity. Okay, so basically this is what you have to know. I think it's pretty simple. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve this problem actually. Okay, so to solve this, you basically have to know that, I'm just gonna write it over here so you guys don't forget. So to determine the limits of a rational function at positive or negative infinity, divide the numerator and denominator by the same x to the power of n, where n is the degree of the denominator, or it is the lowest of the degree of the numerator and denominator. Okay, so this is basically what you have to know. If you want, you can go ahead and highlight this. And I'm sorry, I'm just writing it quickly, so my handwriting is really bad over here, so sorry for that. Okay, so I'm just gonna highlight it, so it's just so you guys don't forget, and you can maybe note down it somewhere that every time we have a rational function, so basically what we are doing is we just need to divide the numerator and the denominator by the same x to the power of n. Okay, and the x to the power of n that we're gonna take, it could be the degree of the denominator, or it could be the lowest of them. Okay, but I usually follow this one, the first one. I just look at the degree of the numerator and the denominator and then just divide it by that. Okay, it's pretty simple like that, so you can basically ignore the second part. Okay, so if you go ahead and look at here, the degree of the denominator, it's x to the power of 2, right? The numerator x to the 1, so here we have x to the power of 2, so we are simply going to divide both of them by x to the power of 2. Okay, so if you go ahead and divide this, both of them, x to the power of 2, so if you go ahead and this, so you have 3x and you have x squared plus 2 over x squared, and then you're gonna have x squared over x squared minus 1 over x squared, and so you basically are left with this. Okay, so if you go ahead and simplify this further, you see where you will have a greater number in the denominator, like if you have a greater number in the denominator, so the term is gonna go over there if you subtract them. If you have a greater number in the numerator, then the greater number is gonna go over there. Okay, so if you do here, you see 1, so you basically have to subtract. So here it is 1 and here it is 2, so 1 minus 2, so that means you're gonna get here here you won't get anything, right? Because this is gonna be cancelled out with this one, and you have a higher term over here, so that means your 1 is gonna stay over here. Okay, so here you're not gonna write anything, so your 1 is gonna stay over there, because you see that 1 was cancelled from the one above. Okay, and here now this is gonna stay the same, and at the bottom here this is simply gonna reduce to 1. So okay, so reduce to 1, and then we have 1 over x squared. Okay, now we can go ahead and put our limit inside once it's factored. Okay, so limit as x approaches infinity over 3 over x plus 2 over x squared, and then at the bottom we have 1 minus 1 over x squared. So then this becomes 1 over infinity, and 1 over infinity is what? Okay, 1 minus 1 over infinity, 3 over infinity plus 2 over infinity. Okay, if you cannot recall, so you basically have to look at these over here, right? So 1 over infinity is basically 0, right? So 1 over infinity, ouch, we get 0 over here, and 3 over infinity, so that's like a constant over infinity. And what is basically a constant over infinity? We get 0. Okay, so we get 0 over here, we get 0 over here, and at the bottom, so we get 0 over 1. So if we get 0 over 1, what is our final answer that we get? We get a 0 as our final answer. Okay, so that's pretty much how you solve this question. Now let's move on to some more difficult problems, so it's gonna make more sense. And yeah, like I just want to mention, like before we go ahead and move to another problem here, if you want, if it's easier for you, you know, you could maybe you do like this. So if it's like 3x to the power of 1 and x to the power of 2, right? So it's like 1 minus 2, right? So you're left with negative 1, right? And 3x to the power of negative 1, if you go ahead and write it in simple terms, like in fraction terms, so this becomes 3 over x. So if you want to look at it this way, so if it's easier for you, or simply you just do the subtraction like usual, and you just look at which one has a higher degree. So this one has higher degree, so we put it over here, the x. So yeah, that's pretty much it, what you have to do. Okay, so now we are moving on to the another question. Okay, so we have this another problem over here. So here we have this problem, and like I said, we're simply going to divide it by the degree of the denominator, right? But here we have 2 degrees, where here we have x to the power of 2 and we have x to the power of 4 as well. So which one do we choose? So when we have a case like this, we'll always go for the one which has the highest degree. Okay, so here we have the highest degree as x to the power of 4, so we'll go ahead and divide the both terms. We have to divide the both terms, not only the denominator. This is important. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and divide by x to the power of 4 both sides. Okay, so now if we go ahead and divide these two, so then we get 1 over x to the power of 4 minus 4x squared, and then we get x to the power of 4 now. Okay, and so we basically have to write it for the whole thing again, right? So the only thing that we have to do for now is simply write that we are dividing everything by x to the power of 4. And why did I write 8 over here? There's no 8. Okay, so here once you write this, now your job becomes really easier, right? If you want, I can switch colors. Okay, so here then 1 over x to the power of 4, it's gonna stay the same. And then we have here again, like I said, if you want, you can do the subtraction way, that if it's easier for you. Okay, but if you want, you can simply look at which one has the highest power. So here we see this one has the denominator has the highest power, so that means so if we do this like that, we get a 2 extra, right? Because this is 4 and this is 2, that means we're gonna get a 2. So that 2 is gonna stay at the bottom because this one has the highest power. But if you want, you can basically do like x to the power of 2, x to the power of 4, so you get 2 minus 4, so that becomes x to the power of negative 2, and x to the power of negative 2, and there was a 4 here. Okay, x to the power of negative 2 is the same as 4x2 square. Okay, so here this is simply going to stay 1, and then here we have 1 over x to the power of 4, it's gonna stay the same. And here again we have 8 over x squared, and this one we have 10 only. Okay, so once we have this, now our next job is simply to plug the limit in. Okay, so limit as x approaches infinity. So now if we go ahead and evaluate this, so 1 over infinity, so here we are only left with 1 over infinity pi minus 4 over infinity plus 1 over 1 over infinity plus 8 over infinity plus 10. Okay, so 1 over infinity, that's a 0, and what is a constant over infinity? Okay, so if you don't know it, so let's go ahead and look at our table. So a constant over infinity is basically 0. Okay, so a constant over infinity, that's a 0. So here we're only left with 1 over 10. And I just realized I wrote 40 in here as well. Okay, why did I write 40 here as well? We're only dividing by x to the power of 4, right? So then here it should be x to the power of 4 here, and here there's no 40 here, right? So if we go ahead and do this, then this one was already x to the power of 4. So then x to the power of 4 and x to the power of 4, they're gonna cancel out, and at the top we're left with 40 and not 1. Okay, so we're gonna be left with 40. So this is 40, and if we go ahead and do this, so that should give you 4. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do another problem. Okay, so the next problem is basically to find the horizontal asymptote, and we haven't covered the horizontal asymptote yet, so let's do that in the next video, and make sure to watch out the link to that next video in the playlist, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.